Hey friends, I'm inviting you today to come along and plan with me. By the end of this video, you will have 4 really simple steps that can help you to plan your day with ease, no stress, and you're just going to feel great about it. Now there are lots of ways to plan, but the reason I like this way so much is because it includes paper and or digital. It allows you to get the most important things done, and it gives you flexibility so you can prioritize your relationships, peace of mind, self-care, and all the things that you really want out of life. Now, one thing to note is having a solid daily plan needs to build on the foundation of annual, monthly, and weekly planning. I'm not going to go into detail on all of those right now, but I do want to share how I put together my week and create my week in advance. Now, I choose to use a weekly format planner. You could absolutely do this digitally. In fact, I do have a digital calendar and I use Asana to track tasks that have to be done on a certain day. But I like to use a paper planner throughout the day so I'm not just on my phone or computer. Now, I'll dive deeper to this in a moment. I want to show you just exactly what I write and how I do it. But before I even get into my week, I have a little page where I create my week. We have a video here on the channel that shows you how you can go into each area like spiritual development, exercise, study, nutrition, work, all these types of things so that you can incorporate all of that into your week. But I do this little plan and create my week so I know what I'm going to be focusing on a daily basis. All right, let's jump into the 4 steps. I promise it's going to be so fun and it's going to make your daily creation feel exciting so you'll look forward to every day. Step number 1 is to block out your appointments and your key routines. So first I look at my Google Calendar and I find out what I have that day, and I actually come right down like, okay, today I'm filming videos and I'm going to a conference this afternoon, I have a meeting tonight, or yesterday or Monday I had a dentist appointment, right? So you put your appointments in so you can see where you actually need to be. But you also put in your key routines. So if I have my spiritual time, my exercise, I have a smoothie bath on here, if you're wondering what that is. I like to have a smoothie every morning that's kind of cold, and I like to have my smoothie in the bathtub so I'm not too cold, and I love my smoothie bath. I know it's kind of weird, but it's super fun. So that's here as a routine. But when you have your routines and your appointments all blocked out, now you know where you're going to fit in the other things for the day. Step 2 is to identify tasks for today and to create some buffer. Okay, so I want to explain how that works. When you're working with a calendar, you put things like your routines and appointments on the calendar, but then there are typically tasks that are very flexible, but you have to do them that day. Now with my weekly planner, I have a little section at the bottom where I can record those kinds of things. So it'll be like, oh, I'm going to email the team about the meeting, or I'm going to be organizing my planner, or I'm doing some big picture thinking, or maybe it's a phone call I have to make that day, something like that, okay? So I put little tasks here on the bottom, and by the end of the day, the goal is just to have all of those checked off. Now, in order to have all of those checked off, you don't want to have a really, really long list. That's the problem that I had all growing up, is I would put 45 tasks on the list for today, and then I would get maybe 1 done, and then I would rewrite them all the next day. And I know you've done that, or if you have a digital app, you keep forwarding, or they're all red, and you're overdue, and then you're stressed, right? Okay, so instead, the reason I actually love this weekly format, I used to use a daily one, but I like the weekly one, is because there's only like 5 lines there, which means that I have to be very, very deliberate about what I write. You want to create buffer, because if you have 85 tasks you have to do, you're not going to have any buffer. And then if someone you love comes up to you and wants to talk to you, or a neighbor needs something, or someone gets sick, all of a sudden you're just stressed out because your list isn't getting done. So that's just, seriously, it makes such a difference. A very, very simplest tasks for the day. Step 3 is to look at your next actions list and identify potential one-off tasks that you could fit into your day. Now, a next actions list, it's organized by home, computer, errands, phone, to discuss, and then I have a little section for things to read or listen to. What's really nice is that this list is weekly, so I don't have to worry about it, but I just like to look at it every day and just see, I wonder if I would run that errand to get the dog food, or maybe I will have some time at home to write this card that I wanted to send to somebody. So having this next actions list and just looking at it, and then sometimes I'll just go into my daily calendar schedule and I'll say, okay, this actually might be a good time to run that errand or work on that card. I'll make a little note. It's not something I have to check off, but it's just something that's there as an option. You want to be able to have options to just fill pockets of time. That way you can move forward on things without having to feel stressed. And whenever you feel like, oh, I'll just open my phone and scroll, instead of doing that, you can just look at your next actions list and see if there's something that you already decided was important that you could just get done during that time. All right, number 4 is my very favorite because that's actually what brings that sense of meaning and purpose to life. Once I have gone through those first 3 steps where I've got my appointments and routines, I have my little steps for the day, I've got my next actions identified, I've kind of got all that together, then the main thing that I encourage you to do is pay attention to opportunities with relationships. Pay attention to maybe impressions or ideas that you might receive. I think of it like my higher power wants to guide me through the day, and so different opportunities are going to come to be able to alleviate pain or encourage somebody or build someone up. And recognize there's also going to be some flexibility for you to use your own discernment. Sometimes the way I might create my week or create my day feels good at the time, but then something's going to shift. And maybe something just happened to a loved one, or maybe a new opportunity just opened up in our business, or something occurred to me that I hadn't anticipated. Being able to use your discernment during the day is really important. I used to just make a list and then I was going to follow that list no matter what because I needed that sense of accomplishment to check it off. But now what I do is I create it the best way I can. And then I feel like I'm open during the day where I'm not just going to abandon my plans anytime someone wants to go to lunch or something like that, but I am going to pay attention to those feelings because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you checked off in your planner. It doesn't matter how many appointments you made it to or how busy you were or how much money you made or how successful you were. What really I believe matters at the end of the day is that you lived your life in alignment with your values, with your higher power, and with your overall purpose for your life. So planning, it's not just something boring and it's not like, oh, I need to get organized or let me just make sure I get everything so perfect that everyone's going to be so proud of me. It's not like that. Planning is a way to be able to take what's in your heart and then put it down into a specific framework that gives you some kind of guideline for the day, always being willing to adjust or shift as needed. As a final piece of encouragement, you don't have to use a specific planner. It doesn't have to be paper or digital. It can look how you want. It can be messy, it can be scribbled. The point is that when you take your best energy to plan and create and follow these steps I talked about today, you're going to notice that you're going to wake up excited and go to bed content. So glad that you're here. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed what we covered today. If you have any thoughts or questions or want to share what you do to deliberately plan, please go ahead and put that in the comments. See you soon.